Hello guys, this is DJC and welcome to my review of The Lie of the Land, and this is the third part of a trilogy that they've had going on for obviously 3 weeks, and today I'm going to be talking about whether this episode actually is underwhelming or not, and I can say that it is not underwhelming. It is a lot better than all 3 episodes, and I do begin to forgive the other 2 episodes for being a bit unusual and not as good, because Extremis developed the monks and showed off their character. The pyramid at the end of the world made this apocalypse, and it also made this entire pyramid ship thing that they do. And today I'm going to be talking about The Lie of the Land. So The Lie of the Land is a story that the entire world is been invaded by the monks now, and the monks have completely taken over. They've completely mind-washed everyone to thinking that they are the best of the best and nobody else can beat them. And this is good. This is good because this does show the idea of a dictatorship throughout history, and especially at the end when it talks about how the planet Earth never learns from their mistakes, and that's because they don't. We tend to make the same mistake twice. And yeah, right. Let's just move into the story. So, I like how Bill and Nardal's weird coughing thing when he lay down the TARDIS for a few hours for 6 months is a very, very good way to bring him into the story. So I feel like we should have had some kind of little montage thing when he actually comes back. Missy's in this episode, and she has a very small role, but I feel like it is a good one. And it's actually very interesting to me, I believe, that there's 2 really weird things about this episode, about this series. How the Doctor's, well, not about this episode, that the Doctor's constantly trying to redeem Missy and turn her into a good side, because at the end of the day, she is his friend, and he doesn't really want her to be dead or on the bad side. He wants to bring her back, and at the end, in the last scene, you see this brilliant bit when she has a bit of remorse, and this could also lead into the John Sim Master coming back and having Missy and the Doctor and Bill and Nardal team up to destroy the John Sim Master. This episode is written by Toby Whitehouse and is directed by Wayne Yip. I think that Toby Whitehouse is a great writer, and he did write a great episode. It's very well written. There's some great lines of dialogue. There's some great sort of moments of high and low. It's like a roller coaster. It's that kind of tension and then relief and then anticlimax, climax, anticlimax. It's that kind of constant hill, and that continues throughout this entire episode. And Wayne Yip is a great director as well. He directed Class, I think I talked about in the What We Know So Far video, but he directed Class last year, and that episode was very good. I especially like the shots that he does when he does the slow motion sort of. There's a moment when the bullet hits into that guy's speaker box, his player, and it hits into the player, and that entire sequence when they're getting into that building, and you see all this cool stuff, the monks are shooting things like the Silence used to, they can make force fields and things like that, and there's this sort of overlap of Bill talking throughout about how the monks are bad. This is all lies. The monks are bad. Do not trust the monks. All that kind of stuff. And then you see it get hit, and he turns to the other side. Capaldi and Bill and Nardole have a great sort of relationship this episode. I like how they kind of make sort of a gang, and they bring the gang together fairly early on in the episode. And I like how, it's the idea that they're all split up and then they come back together and they defeat whatever it is. I suppose this plot is quite simple, but it was actually quite effective. Let's talk about some of the anticlimax. One of the anticlimaxes, then we'll talk about the ending. So the anticlimax is a great way, because in the trailer it makes it look like he's going to regenerate this series, but he hasn't, and he's actually going to regenerate at Christmas, and we know that, but teasing us that he's going to regenerate in this series is great. And that's a very well done job by the writers and the editors and the people who made the trailer to put in that little bit, because that makes it look like he's regenerating, even though he isn't really, even though it doesn't have a massive amount of explanation to it. I like how that how Bill is completely out of this loop to begin with, and he's got the Doctor's kind of made his own rebellion against the monks, but it's so secretive that they don't know about it. And I think that and he sort of kind of gets Bill in a different way. And finally there's the ending. So the ending, the Bill's mother actually gets some kind of payoff in this episode. Previously, we haven't seen any of this payoff from the character, and finally we did, and we actually got to see what I would call Bill's solo episode. And Bill is a great character to have, and she's a great companion. So this episode might be my favourite episode of this series. It has been so good and so continuous, this series, that this episode is definitely my favourite. So thank you guys for watching. This has been DNGA Studios. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you get a like. I will have my What We Know So Far video coming up on Wednesday or Tuesday. Down below you'll see a link to my Lego Doctor Who episode trailer that I released like just now when Doctor Who ended. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. This has been DNGA Studios. Goodbye.